Adrian has everything money can buy, except the freedom to choose his own path. At 17, he's heir to a billion-dollar empire. But today, as his car passes through the gates of his family's estate, he has no idea that his perfectly planned life is about to collide with something his mother's money can't control. Love. The Whitmore mansion isn't just a home. It's a fortress of tradition, where every marble tile whispers of duty, and every portrait demands perfection. Adrian walks these halls like a prince in a golden cage, unaware that somewhere in these very rooms, a girl with dark eyes and a gentle heart is about to change everything. Isabella Martinez moves through the Whitmore mansion like a whisper, unseen, unnoticed, invisible to a world that measures worth in dollars. The daughter of the family's longtime housekeeper, she's spent her life in the shadows of someone else's dreams. But today, fate has other plans. Sometimes destiny announces itself with fireworks. Sometimes it whispers in a hallway collision. When Adrian's world crashes into Isabella's, time stops. In her eyes, he doesn't see his fortune. He sees himself. And for the first time in his privileged life, Adrian Whitmore is truly seen. "I'm sorry, I didn't see you," he says, but his eyes tell a different story. "It's all right," she whispers, but her heart is racing. In that moment, class barriers dissolve. Wealth means nothing. They're just two 17-year-olds whose souls recognize something familiar in each other. But some moments are too dangerous to last. Victoria Whitmore didn't build her family's empire by allowing weakness, and she recognizes the look in her son's eyes. She's seen it destroy men before. From her perch above, she watches her carefully constructed world begin to crack. Isabella hurries away, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. She's been taught to be invisible, but Adrian's gaze made her feel seen, alive, dangerous. Behind her, Adrian stands frozen, wondering how a 30-second encounter could shift the foundation of his entire world. That night, Adrian lies in his king-sized bed, surrounded by everything money can buy. But all he can think about is a girl with dark eyes and a gentle smile, who looked at him like he was just soft human. For the first time, his golden cage feels suffocating. Miles away in the servants' quarters, Isabella writes in her journal by lamplight. Her room is small, but filled with dreams bigger than the mansion she cleans. Tonight, she writes about unexpected encounters and how sometimes strangers feel like coming home. The next day, Adrian finds himself wandering halls he's never paid attention to before, carrying books he doesn't need to read, taking routes that make no sense, except they all lead to places where a girl with dark eyes might appear. He's never had to search for anything before. Everything has always come to him. Isabella arranges white roses in crystal vases, her movements graceful and deliberate. She tells herself she's not hoping to see him again, that yesterday was just a moment, nothing more. But her hands shake slightly as she adjusts each petal, and her eyes keep drifting to the doorway. When Adrian appears in the doorway, Isabella's heart stops. This time it's not an accident. His eyes find hers across the room, and something electric passes between them. "The roses are beautiful," he says, but he's not looking at the flowers. She's not either. They talk about books, about dreams, about everything except the impossible gulf between their worlds. Adrian discovers that Isabella reads poetry, that she wants to study literature, that her mind is as beautiful as her face. Isabella learns that behind his privilege lies a boy who's never been allowed to choose anything for himself. But fairy tales don't survive in mansions built on control. Victoria's heels click against marble like countdown timers. Her smile is ice-cold perfection as she surveys the scene, noting the flush in her son's cheeks, the way the girl's hands tremble as she arranges flowers that were already perfect. "Isabella, don't you have duties elsewhere?" Victoria's voice is silk wrapped around steel. The dismissal is polite, final, and absolutely clear. Isabella curtsies slightly and leaves, but not before one last glance at Adrian. Victoria has fired the first shot in a war she intends to win. "She's very pretty," Victoria says, her tone casual but her meaning clear. Adrian's jaw tightens. "She's just a girl, Mother." "Exactly," Victoria replies. And in that single word, Adrian hears the sound of prison doors closing. There are appropriate girls, Adrian. Girls of your own level. That night, Adrian paces his bedroom like a caged lion. He's never felt more trapped. His mother's words echo in his head, but Isabella's eyes haunt his heart. For the first time, he's questioning everything he's been taught to believe. Isabella's mother, Maria, has worked for the Whitmores for 20 years. She's watched them build their fortune and knows the price of crossing them. When she sees the distant look in her daughter's eyes, her mother's heart whispers warnings her daughter isn't ready to hear. 3 weeks pass in stolen moments. Garden conversations hidden by roses, hallway glances that last too long. Adrian and Isabella fall in love the way flowers bloom, gradually, naturally, inevitably. They meet in shadows and find light in each other's eyes. In the garden where Isabella's mother planted roses 20 years ago, Adrian and Isabella discover that love doesn't care about bank accounts. When he almost kisses her, she doesn't pull away. For one perfect moment, they forget that the world exists beyond this garden. But the world does exist, and it's watching. From her bedroom window, Victoria sees her son's hand brush Isabella's cheek, sees the way they look at each other like nothing else matters. Her grip tightens on the curtain. This ends now. Victoria Whitmore didn't build an empire by allowing obstacles to remain in her path. By morning, she's made 6 phone calls, private investigators, boarding school administrators, immigration lawyers. Every problem has a solution when you have enough money to buy one. Isabella polishes silver that costs more than her family makes in a year, but today she feels like the richest girl in the world. Love has made her brave, made her dream of impossibilities. She doesn't know that across town, her world is being systematically dismantled by a woman who sees her as nothing more than an obstacle to remove. At Whitmore Academy, where his family name is carved in stone and his future is carved in granite, Adrian sits through classes he's attended his entire life, but sees them differently now. The other students talk about their trust funds and summer homes, but all Adrian can think about is a girl who makes him feel more alive than any amount of money ever has. When Victoria calls Maria to her office, 20 years of loyal service hangs in the balance. "Your daughter is lovely," Victoria begins, her voice honey-sweet with poison underneath. "I'd hate for her future to be limited by poor choices. Maria's hands shake, but her spine stays straight. She knows a threat when she hears one. That evening, Maria holds her daughter's hands across their small kitchen table and breaks her heart with the gentleness of a mother's love. "Mija," she whispers, "some dreams are too dangerous to dream." Isabella's world shifts on its axis, but not in the way she'd hoped. Isabella becomes a ghost in her own story, disappearing whenever Adrian appears. When he finds her anyway, the pain in her eyes tells him everything. "We can't," she whispers, but doesn't say why. "We can," he insists, but doesn't know how. Adrian storms into his mother's office like a hurricane hitting a fortress. "What did you do?" he demands. Victoria doesn't even look up from her papers. "I protected our family," she replies calmly. "You mean you destroyed my happiness?" "Same thing," she says, and means it. For the first time in his life, Adrian sees his mother clearly, realizing not as a protector, but as a manipulator. For the first time in her life, Victoria sees her son as a threat to everything she's built. They face each other across a chasm of hurt and power, love and control, and neither knows how to build a bridge. That night, Adrian packs the life he's always known into a single suitcase. Each designer shirt he folds feels like shedding skin. Each family photo he leaves behind feels like freedom. If love means losing everything, then he'll lose everything for love. In the garden where they fell in love, Adrian begs Isabella to leave everything behind. "We'll start over," he promises. "Just us." Isabella's heart screams yes, but her mind whispers of her mother's job, their small apartment, the life that would be destroyed. Love isn't always enough when survival is at stake. Victoria's voice cuts through the night like a blade. "How romantic," she says, flanked by security who've been watching and waiting. "Young love." The word drips with contempt. Isabella doesn't look back as security escorts her away, but not because she doesn't want to. She knows that if she sees Adrian's face, if she sees the pain in his eyes, she'll run to him and make everything worse. Sometimes, love means walking away, even when every step breaks your heart. Adrian discovers that all his money, all his privilege, can't make a phone ring on the other end. His mother has made sure of that. For the first time in his charmed life, Adrian Whitmore is truly powerless, locked in a tower made of gold and promises he never made. 20 years of loyalty, 20 years of service, 20 years of calling the Whitmore mansion home, all packed into 3 cardboard boxes and 2 suitcases. Maria's hands shake as she folds the uniforms she'll never wear again. Isabella helps her mother pack their life away, both of them knowing they're paying the price for a love that dared to dream. Dawn breaks over the Whitmore estate like a funeral, as Isabella and her mother load their life into a truck that will take them far from this place. The mansion stands witness, beautiful, imposing, and utterly without mercy. Other staff members watch from windows, lesson learned, knowing they've all learned a lesson about the price of forgetting your place. From his bedroom window, Adrian watches his heart drive away in a moving truck. His fist pounds against glass that won't break, no matter how hard he hits it. Below, Isabella doesn't look back at the mansion. She can't. If she sees him watching, she'll never have the strength to leave. Victoria enters her son's room expecting gratitude, or at least resignation. Instead, she finds a stranger wearing Adrian's face. "You've won," he says, his voice empty of everything she raised him to be. "But you've lost me forever." For the first time, Victoria wonders if the price of victory might be too high. 6 months later, Adrian walks through Harvard's hallowed halls like a ghost haunting his own life. He attends the right parties, dates the right girls, says the right things. On paper, he's everything Victoria wanted. In his heart, he's a shell of the boy who once believed love could conquer all. Isabella works 3 jobs to pay for night classes at community college. Her hands are rough from cleaning offices. Her feet ache from double shifts at the diner, but her mind is sharp as ever. She reads poetry between customers and writes essays on napkins. Victoria Whitmore took away her home, but she couldn't take away her dreams. Adrian finds her by accident, scrolling through scholarship winners online. Overcoming Barriers, Education is the Great Equalizer by Isabella Martinez. Her photo stares back at him from the screen. Older, sadder, but still beautiful, still fighting, still dreaming. For the first time in 6 months, Adrian Whitmore remembers how to hope. Adrian stands outside a building that cost less than his mother's monthly flower budget, but he's never felt richer with possibility. 6 months of regret have taught him that some things matter more than money, more than approval, more than the easy path. Love is worth fighting for, even when the fight seems impossible. When Isabella opens her door and finds Adrian standing there, time stops, the way it did in a mansion hallway a lifetime ago. But they're different now, scarred by separation, strengthened by survival, wiser about the price of love. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "I should have fought harder." "You're here now," she says. "That's what matters." Victoria stares at her son's empty dorm room like a general surveying a battlefield where she's somehow lost despite holding every advantage. His roommate hasn't seen him in days. His phone goes straight to voicemail. For the first time since building her empire, Victoria Whitmore doesn't know how to regain control. In a studio apartment that could fit in Adrian's former bathroom, they plan a future that terrifies and exhilarates them both. No trust fund, no family money, no safety net. Just 2 people who believe love and hard work can build something stronger than any inheritance. Victoria's office becomes a war room. Private investigators, credit checks, phone records. She'll use every resource at her disposal to bring her son home. She tells herself it's love. But control and love often look identical to the person wielding both. Adrian's hands blister from construction work, but every callus feels like freedom. He comes home to Isabella, covered in dust and dirt, and she's never found him more beautiful. He's not an heir anymore. He's a man, building his own future, one day at a time. 2 months later, Victoria's private investigator slides a manila folder across her desk. Inside are photographs, addresses, employment records. Her son's new life, mapped out in black and white. Victoria stares at a photo of Adrian in work clothes, holding Isabella's hand. For a moment, she almost sees what he sees. Then she reaches for her phone. When Victoria arrives with her entourage of lawyers and security, she expects to find the broken boy she once controlled. Instead, she finds a man who's learned that happiness isn't something you inherit, it's something you build. "Come home," she commands. "I am home," Adrian replies, taking Isabella's hand. Victoria opens a briefcase containing more money than Isabella's family has ever seen. "This is your final offer," she says. But she's not talking to Isabella. She's talking to her son. Adrian doesn't even look at the money. "Some things can't be bought, Mother. I thought you taught me that." For the first time in her life, Victoria Whitmore faces a problem money cannot solve. As Victoria's convoy disappears into the distance, Adrian and Isabella watch from their window. They have nothing but each other, student loans, and dreams bigger than any trust fund. But as Adrian kisses Isabella's forehead and she melts into his embrace, they both know they've chosen the greater fortune. Love isn't something you inherit. It's something you fight for, build together, and treasure above all else. 2 years later, Adrian and Isabella graduate together. He with a business degree earned through night school while working construction, she with honors in literature and a full scholarship to graduate school. As they throw their caps in the air, Maria wipes tears of pride from her eyes. Sometimes, the greatest fortunes aren't inherited. They're built by two hearts that refuse to give up on love, on dreams, and on each other. The heir's forbidden heart had found its home. Three years after Victoria's final confrontation, Adrian and Isabella stood before their loved ones and said, "I do." It wasn't a society wedding in a grand ballroom. It was something better. An intimate garden ceremony, paid for by their own hard work, attended by people who loved them for who they were, not what they owned. Maria walked her daughter down the aisle with tears of joy. Love had won. Adrian built his own company from the ground up, an architectural firm specializing in affordable housing, proving you don't need a trust fund to make a difference. He earned his business degree through night school while working construction, every diploma and achievement his own. The empire he's building isn't inherited, it's earned, and it means everything. Isabella earned her PhD in literature with full academic honors and published her first novel, Dreams Beyond Fortune, a story that's touched millions of hearts. She's now a professor, inspiring students that education can transform lives. Every dream Victoria tried to destroy, Isabella achieved on her own terms. She proved that worth isn't measured in dollars. Together, they purchased their first home. Not a mansion, but something better. A warm, beautiful house filled with love, laughter, and dreams coming true. A front porch where their children play. A garden Isabella tends herself. A place built on their combined success and shared dreams. This is what victory really looks like. Adrian and Isabella welcomed two beautiful daughters into the world. Sophia, age 5, and Emma, age 3. Two little girls who grow up knowing that love, determination, and authenticity matter more than any bank account. Two little girls who'll never question whether they're valued for themselves or their last name. This is the fortune that matters. And after 13 years together, through every challenge and triumph, Adrian and Isabella are still as in love as that moment they collided in a mansion hallway. Maybe more. They chose each other when it cost everything, and they'd choose each other again, because they learned what Victoria never understood. Some fortunes aren't inherited. They're built by two hearts that refuse to give up on love. Adrian and Isabella's story proves that the greatest fortune isn't found in bank accounts or family names. It's found in the courage to choose love, to fight for your dreams, and to build a life that's authentically yours. If their journey touched your heart, please hit that like button and let me know what you thought in the comments below. Would you choose love over fortune? Have you ever had to fight for someone you believed in? I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to share this video with someone who needs to hear that love is worth fighting for. And subscribe to the channel for more incredible true stories about courage, love, and the choices that define us. Remember, some fortunes are counted in dollars, but the richest ones are measured in heartbeats. Choose love. Always choose love. Until next time, keep believing in stories where the heart wins. Thank you for watching.